Tonight on News Watch, a local fire department debuts its new home, what the change could mean for the community. Plus,
we have an update on 3 men charged with a hate crime in Edgar County. We'll bring you the latest. Scott?
April is one of our windiest months on average, and it's not done blowing yet. This is News Watch. Your Friday evening edition is coming up next.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew Spade.
And I'm Ben Whitney. We've had a rainy day today, but what else can we expect throughout the weekend? Let's now check in with Skywatch local forecaster Scott Ely. Scott?
Good evening. I've been keeping my eye on our up-to-the-minute radar, and as you can see, getting to 5:30, the moisture is finally behind us. It really stretched out today. And for right now, our high temperatures on the day included a 76 in Robinson, a 75 in Terre Haute, 73 in Danville. Those were all above what is average for this time of year. But here in Charleston, as well as in Champaign, significantly below with a high temperature of only 69 degrees. Area conditions currently, you can see the clouds are starting to be kind of blown out of the area, and we'll explain exactly why that's happening when we come back with your full forecast in just a couple of minutes. Right now, though, back to the anchor desk.
Thanks, Scott. And other news, a local fire department is getting a new training center.
Newswatch's Rashad Jones has a look at that new facility in Effingham.
The Effingham Fire Department hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony earlier this afternoon for a brand new training facility. The new training center offers a place for firefighters to learn more skills and be able to train locally without traveling far. The center has features like a drywall, props for breaching walls, live fire simulation, and windows trainings throughout the building. The completion of the facility took over a year to finish, and many came out earlier today to celebrate the new opportunity for the department. Fire Chief Brent Yoakum explained how this center can be very useful and expressed his excitement for the opening.
It's just going to allow us to get more experience deploying hose lines to the second and third floor. It's going to allow us to force entry and then deploy a hose line. It's going to allow us just to get the more realistic experience that we don't normally get just training, outside with no props. It's been a blessing to be able to do something like this, and it's good for our community as a whole. So.
Yoakum and the fire department will begin training at the new center on Monday night. Yoakum says other regional fire departments can use the facility for training, including Shumway Fire Protection District, Teutopolis, and Watson. In Effingham, I'm Rashad Jones for WEIU Newswatch.
Now over in Arthur, firefighters are crediting a homeowner's quick thinking with saving horses from a barn fire yesterday. Arthur Fire and Ambulance reports crews responded to smoke coming from a chicken barn yesterday morning, and when they arrived, they reported finding heavy smoke coming from both the chicken barn and another attached barn. They say that there were no chickens present in the barn, and they say the homeowner safely moved the horses to safety. Authorities say Atwood Fire Protection District also helped with the fire, and crews say the barn is deemed a total loss. 3 men charged with hate crime in Edgar County returned to court for preliminary hearings. Prosecutors say the case involves attempted murder and hate crime charges after an incident near Paris on Good Friday. Authorities say the defendants are accused of confronting 3 black men who were night fishing. Investigators allege racial slurs were shouted during the encounter, and a shotgun was pointed at the alleged victims before one of the victims fired a concealed carry weapon. Court records show 3 defendants, Jaden Reynolds, Jordan Coleman, and Jesse Coleman, all pleaded not guilty and asked for jury trials. The Colemans are being held in custody. Champaign County is hitting pause on new large data center projects after leaders approved a 1-year moratorium. Dozens of residents attended the county board meeting yesterday, asking officials to slow down and study the impact of the proposed developments. The moratorium applies to new data centers larger than 10,000 square feet, and board members first considered reusing the pause to 9 months, but after public comment, they voted to keep the full 12 months. Residents and environmental advocates raised concerns about heavy electricity use, water demand, and noise from larger facilities. Authorities say the review is aimed at balancing economic growth with community and environmental concerns.
The University of Illinois is extending restrictions on official travel near Iran. Last month, the administration announced it would review all university-related travel to 14 Middle Eastern countries. Now they say those requirements will run through July 26th. U of I officials say they will also be examining travel itineraries with layovers in high-risk areas. The policy applies to all students, staff, and faculty, and this process does not apply to travel for non-university reasons. Local engineering students are helping improve the air at Horizon Health in Paris. 4 senior students from Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology in Terre Haute have been helping to evaluate the air conditioning system at the facility. Their research includes measuring air temperature, humidity, air velocity, and airborne particulates. During their research, they found decreased airflow in a non-clinical area on the second floor, which leaders say is an opportunity for improvement. Horizon Health's president and CEO says he's happy to be working with the brightest minds in their field. The state treasurer's office is conducting an online auction of unclaimed property. Some of these items include baseball cards of Ryan Sandberg, Nolan Ryan, Ken Griffey Jr., and a French coin from the 1800s. Most of these items are usually lost from bank accounts. Last year's auction sale totaled $374,000, including a gold bar that sold for $33,500. If you're interested in checking out the auction, it's live on highbid.com until May 3rd. A new monument is paying tribute to hopes for peace.
Newswatch's Alex Sittman shows us this afternoon's ceremony in Charleston.
I hope that it represents a hope that people can come together and love peace more than they love power or war.
A small crowd gathered at Eastern Illinois University's campus Friday to dedicate a pole. It's a peace pole and says, "May peace prevail on earth" in 16 different languages to represent peace among everyone. President of the Charleston Rotary Club, John Willems, feels it's important to have this pole on a college campus.
I think that college campuses speak to the young, and it is the young that, we would like to have a world that inherits peace. So the goal is peace for the young, since we certainly didn't see it in my lifetime.
And Charleston Rotary Club International Service Director Kristen Bertrand hopes the poll speaks to students who've come to Eastern from around the world.
Well, I hope international students that see their language or see a language that's near theirs will feel like, hey, we're noticed, and that they will see that they're valued by Charleston Rotary, by EIU, by the community of Charleston.
I really want people to just look at the message of the poll, which is "May peace prevail on earth," and look at the fact that it's also 15 different languages. And it really does represent the entire earth, the languages on the poll. And let's just hope that we can see peace in our lifetimes.
In Charleston, I'm Alex Sittman for WEIU Newswatch.
You can find that new peace pole behind the university's Old Main building. Organizers say an $1,800 grant covered part of the price of the pole, and the Charleston Rotary Club covered the rest. Now over in Champaign, downtown Champaign is turning up the volume on popular concert series. Live music returns to Champaign's free weekly concert series, Soundbites, starting May 7th. This series runs every Thursday afternoon from 12 to 1:15. And new in 2026, Soundbites will host after-work concerts Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30. Organizers have also announced a family-friendly event on the weekends. Sunday Soundbites runs from 11:30 to 2 and features trivia, games, and other activities, followed by more live music. You can visit Champaign's social media pages for more information. Well, it might not be a bad evening for some outdoor music.
Scott Ely's back with a look at our weekend forecast.
Gentlemen, I like to look at what's happening with our neighbors to see what's coming next. Our weather usually comes from the west. Coming from the northwest, some high pressure from our friends in Nebraska, but we don't want this. That's too far northwest, and that's pretty cold in South Dakota. Your full weather picture coming up next.
Hi, I'm Everett Lau, an Eastern Illinois University graduate from the class of 2021. As an Edgar County farm kid, I grew up with a childhood dream of becoming a broadcast meteorologist. I spent a lot of time in the WEIU studio during my 4 years in college, and that's how I got to this studio, WTHI TV in Terre Haute, Indiana. WEIU prepared me for long nights of tracking thunderstorms, fine-tuning details of approaching winter storms, and how to be a broadcaster in general, whether it was weather, news, or even sports. I needed WEIU to achieve my dream, and now WEIU needs me and you to help carry out its mission of setting up students for success. Please consider making a financial gift to support WEIU so the station and its dedicated staff can continue operating this outstanding training ground for aspiring broadcasters, journalists, and scientists. Your gift can allow local students like me provide local programming for our local communities. Learn more at weiu.net or by calling the station. Thanks for watching.
Good evening and welcome back to weather. Looking at our satellite radar picture, we see the moisture from today is behind us as of at least 5:30, and calling your attention to the northwest. The H, we'll call it our friend Harry. High pressure will be pushing out the remaining clouds because there are still some clouds behind this system that has already moved through. We did get some rainfall. In fact, we had rainfall in Effingham today. I can vouch for that. 0.3 of an inch of rain in the area in Charleston here today, and officially on the board, Decatur, Champaign, Danville, and Paris, each with 1/10 of an inch of rain since midnight. Our current conditions show you that the high pressure is already at work, kicking out that cloud cover, although there may be some very thin clouds remaining in places such as Taylorville on your map. Overnight tonight, we are looking at low temperatures near 54, clouds thinning out. We do still have some remaining wind. That'll be from the north, bringing in some colder air with gusts of greater than 15 miles per hour. Let's take a look at Futurecast. It'll confirm what is happening with the cloud cover. Thin clouds in and out and, well, dissipating. And by Saturday afternoon, we have very brilliant sunshine coming your way. Let's look at tomorrow's forecast. We are predicting late afternoon high temperatures with a very high UV index. So cover up in the late afternoon or any time in the afternoon, and certainly apply sunscreen, even though you might not think about it, with temperatures only in the 70s for much of the afternoon. That's the high point. Now, after that brilliant sunshine tomorrow, we're going to move to Sunday, and we still have mostly sunny conditions, but you see some clouds starting to make their way in. And then Monday, well, that's the big weather day of the coming week. A possibility of storms, as you can see, and those winds, regardless of whether or not we have storms, could be causing some damage. Winds from the south, bringing in the warm air at 40 miles per hour. Some people say possibly even 50 miles an hour or so. Your 7-day outlook, first let's do something a little different. Let's look at the wind direction, because the wind really controls what happens with our weather as much as other factors such as sunshine. So we see, and we already let the cat out of the bag on Monday, high temperatures near 80, winds from the south, bringing in that warm air and bringing in some turbulence as well, perhaps in the possibility of storms. And then a big change comes right afterward, as usually happens after a storm. We have winds from the northwest on Tuesday, winds from the due north on Wednesday, and as we move to your 7-day outlook, you will see a big change from the 80-degree temperatures of Monday to, what's this, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? Going into the month of May, we go from 80 to 60s and even to possibly into the 50s. And you know what? After that, we look at week 2, and the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting the possibility of below average weather. So it's going to be a while for summer anyway.
Thanks, Scott. I know today was a little bit of a letdown temperature-wise and with the rain, but it's been an absolutely gorgeous week across the area.
58 degrees? Yikes. Thank you, Scott. It's time for a little Friday mix-up. Ben Whitney is making his Sports Watch debut up next.
That's right, Andrew, and I'll have a preview on Charleston baseball, plus more on the Chicago Bears first-round draft selection right after this. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
Hi, I'm Larry Smith, second-generation EIU Panther and a proud alum of the WEIU program. For nearly 4 decades, I've had the privilege of reporting on some of the biggest stories of my generation, from getting to know so many East Central Illinoisans to a quarter century on the anchor desks at CNN Sports and Turner Sports, covering major events worldwide, championship celebrations, and even presidential inaugurations. It's been a career that has far exceeded even my wildest dreams. One that would not have been possible without WEIU, which finds itself in peril. Recent legislation in Washington took away the program's federal funding. So on their behalf, I'm asking you to consider making a donation. WEIU is one of the best training grounds in the nation for students who have a passion for journalism, broadcasting, radio, TV production, and they're worth your gift. You can find more info at weiu.net. Thank you in advance for your gift.
EIU Beach Volleyball must win to keep their season alive as they take on UT Martin in the OVC tournament. Unfortunately for the Panthers, the Skyhawks dominated, taking down Eastern 3-0 and ending their season. The Panthers finished 15-5 in their second season under head coach Ryan Millar, who led Eastern Illinois Volleyball to their second OVC title in the last 3 seasons. As for Eastern baseball and softball, they're both coming off huge midweek wins and are back in action this weekend. The Panther baseball squad is coming off an 11-6 win against Butler, where James Love came up clutch with a home run and 4 RBIs. Looking ahead to this weekend, Eastern is playing UT Martin on the road. The first game began at 5, and at last check, UT Martin was up on the Panthers 1-0 in the top of the third. The last 2 games of the series are set for Saturday at 3 and Sunday at 1. As for Panthers softball, they ride a 6-game win streak and are fresh off a 6-3 win over UIC. Tomorrow, they're on the diamond for a doubleheader against Southern Indiana and close out the series Sunday at noon. It's finally time for some Panther football. The annual Eastern Illinois football spring game is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow from O'Brien Field. The game will feature the Panther offense taking on the Panther defense. This will be the first time Eastern fans can see their team in action since the season finale at Alabama. Last season, the Panthers finished the season with a 3-9 record with a 2-6 mark in conference play. We'll tone it down a notch to some local high school baseball as the Charleston Trojans have a big week ahead. Next Monday, they'll be on the road against Robinson with first pitch at 4:30. Then it's rivalry time as CHS goes up against Mattoon in a 2-game series. First game will be at home and the second will be away. But focusing on what's in front of us, CHS is actually in action right now. They're on the road against the St. Anthony Bulldogs, and at last check, the Trojans were up 5-1 on the Bulldogs. As for other IHSA games currently in action, Tolono Unity is on the road against St. Thomas More, and Maroa Forsyth is playing host against Argena Oriena. Tomorrow, St. Anthony, who's currently in action against Charleston, will hit the road against Mattoon, while Teutopolis will play a doubleheader against Freeburg and Gibbo Catholic. We'll have a full weekend roundup from IHSA baseball on Monday's edition. We head now to the pros as the Chicago White Sox wrap up their 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. In the bottom of the first, the D-backs take the early edge as Adrian Del Castillo rips a line to right field, and Arizona superstar Ketel Marte gets all the way from first base back to home. But the Sox respond thanks to Miguel Vargas, who had a phenomenal series. With this RBI single, Vargas recorded 4 hits, 3 RBIs, and 2 homers against Arizona this week, and we're all tied up. We remain tied as we head into the 9th, and D-back shutdown closer Paul Sewald gets obliterated. White Sox veteran Andrew Benintendi is all over this one, and Benny hits the game-winning 3-run shot. The White Sox moved to 10-15 and are now just 3.5 games back in a weak AL Central after taking down Arizona 1-4. The White Sox are back in action tonight, as are the Cubbies and the Cardinals. For the Sox, they return to Wright Field to kick off a 3-game series with the Washington Nationals. Munetaka Murakami's 10 home runs have him tied for second in the MLB with top national slugger James Wood. Will either get their 11th tonight. As for the Cubbies, they're going to Hollywood for Game 1 of 3 against the LA Dodgers. Jameson Taillon will take the mound tonight for the Cubs as they search for their 10th straight victory. And finally, the Cardinals host Cal Raleigh and the Mariners for the first of 3 games in St. Louis. The Cards are one of the early season surprises. They sit at 14-10 in large part thanks to a breakout campaign from Jordan Walker, who's 5th in the league in homers with 8. The Sox start at 6:40, the Cards start at 7:15, and the Cubbies at 9:15. For another team in the Windy City, last night was the first night of the NFL draft, and the Chicago Bears added a key piece to their secondary. With the 25th pick, the Bears selected Dylan Thieneman out of the University of Oregon. Thieneman finished his junior season with the Ducks after a 2-year stint at the University of Purdue. The safety will pair up in the backfield with newly acquired Kobe Bryant, who the Bears signed from Seattle in free agency this past year. The NFL draft resumes tonight with rounds 2 and 3 and gets underway tonight at 6. And finally tonight, if you're looking to go to the World Cup final in New Jersey in a few months, be ready to cough up a few dollars. One resale ticket for the finals is going upwards of $2,299,998.85. And that's just for one ticket. Of course, the seller most likely won't get that price, but the cheapest ticket you can find on the official resale market is $11,000. That's all for tonight's Sports Watch. Andrew, take it away.
Thank you, Ben. You killed it. Still to come, Scott Ely returns with the final check of the Skywatch forecast. But first, one young cancer survivor is finding a way to give back to other children. We'll show you how in tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
I believe music can change the world.
It seems everyone has a go-to Michael Jackson song, including the cast of Michael.
I'll Be There, Jackson 5.
Off the Wall.
Yeah. And PYT. It's always go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Baby Be Mine.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one. That's a great one. It's a banger.
That song.
Yeah, I agree.
No, that
Don't
wasn't.
stop till you get enough.
Michael is in theaters now.
In some kind of trouble. Are you all right?
You cannot let your past define who you are.
Also now in theaters, Ricky, starring Stephan James as a man trying to adjust to life after prison. The independent drama won the U.S. Dramatic Directing Award at last year's Sundance Film Festival.
Acapella has become cool since Pitch Perfect. 600 groups, 12,000 students competing every year.
Just Sing looks at a college a cappella group trying to maintain its status as one of the best in the U.S. The documentary opens this weekend in New York and Los Angeles and expands to more cities this spring. Staying in tune in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And finally tonight, a young cancer survivor is paying it forward with plastic blocks. Ali Faircloth used his Make-A-Wish to donate Legos to other children at Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. The 12-year-old, who battled an aggressive form of cancer, says Legos helped him during his treatments. And that's why instead of using his Make-A-Wish to meet a celebrity or take a trip, he decided to give hundreds of Lego sets to pediatric patients. Others have followed Faircloth's example and donated Legos to hospitalized children. Now back in Illinois, Scott Ely returns to it with a final check of the Skywatch forecast.
It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. We're looking at temperatures all afternoon, basically in the 70s. Brilliant sunshine, and what's happening out there is tonight's clouds will be kicked out by a high pressure system moving in. High pressure usually means, though, mild temperatures, so we're not looking at a summery type weekend. We're looking at a little bit of a breezy weekend, and that will continue through Sunday. But then Monday is the big weather day with winds gusting up to 40 or maybe greater miles per hour, and also a possibility of storms. And as you see our 7-day forecast in its entirety, it's basically a two-part equation there, with the latter 4 days being significantly below average. So as we move into the month of May, which starts next Friday, It's not going to be that preview of summer that most college students, for example, might be looking forward to. That's your Skywatch forecast. And here we are at the anchor desk.
I know we'll be keeping an eye on Monday, but it is going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend to get out there and enjoy spring across the area.
Yeah, we got to be alert for that wind, though. Thank you, Scott, for all that. Thank you for joining us. For more news and weather, be sure to log onto our website at WEIU.net.
There you'll find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day. And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@WEIU.net.
Have a great weekend and a good night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.